Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the counselor's office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and we are back with This Week in Destiny. That's right. This is a hefty big boy. That's right. We've got a lot in this week loading up for you. Before we get started, if I know there's a lot of drama in the background with the 4 times world first raider, right? Can we just focus on the topic? You can go talk and your insults over there. And I do want to make a note. I feel like I have to do it every video, regardless what the theme is about. I'm Hispanic, so I have naturally oil hair. I shower every night. And if you make a comment about my hair being the way it is, I'm going to assume you're racist and I'm just going to ban you. I don't tolerate people being racist. So with that negativity out of the way, let's talk some positives. Surprisingly, there is a lot of good stuff. It is crazy how I go from grilling Bungie in my seasonal review, which check it out in the cards up top and wherever, check it out for yourself, right? To this, where they're actually doing something. This week in Destiny, we're checking out the PvP Strike Team update, accessibility for consoles, prophecy dungeon weapon updates, and I don't care about, I'll show you, but I really don't care. We're going to get to the meat of it because I don't want a 40-minute video. And if I want to react to someone who's going to break it down, that's great. So let's just see what they have to say first. I think that's important that we read. Hey folks, it's the PvP Strike Team here. Today, we'd like to share our thoughts on the current state of PvP, our philosophy, and the changes we have planned. We believe Destiny's PvP gameplay provides players with a unique experience that can stand on its own, but it needs a clear vision alongside ongoing iteration. For some time, the Crucible hasn't felt like it's had that. It's felt, most people who are in PvP or play PvP feel like it's not getting the love it needs. A lot of people feel like it was abandoned. This has made it difficult for us to attract players to the current Crucible. I imagine why. Leading to a slow bleed of our PvP population over the last couple of years as veterans move on and are not replaced by fresh players, which is an argument that a lot of top PvPers have made and said, hey, you don't fix this problem, the people who care about it are going to leave, and all the new players, they're just not going to show up anyway. So you need to really look at the core. And it seems like that's what they're doing. We want to refocus on rewarding players who love the Crucible, as well as to push to provide a baseline variety return to our core mission. We want to refocus. Oh, wait, I already did that. Our experience to ensure there's always something appealing to PvP enjoyers. So what they're saying is whether you're a veteran or a new player, there should be something that you want from the Crucible experience. So we're talking about maps, rewards, game modes, sandboxes, and matchmaking. Maps. Essentially, because I've read this, to summarize what they have brought on the table, and you can read it as I talk. The maps that we currently have, a lot of them are being shoehorned into game modes that just don't work. Maps are becoming stale. People are growing tired of the same maps, and they're trying to make different game modes that they were never intended to work with, try to fit it, which is only making the issue worse. So they made a quality of life to map spawning. They've addressed the maps here, like Altar of Flames, Cauldron, Endless Veil, Midtown, Meltdown. But in 7.3.5 in March, they're going to do another one to focus on Eternity and Fortress. Moving all backfield spawns for non-rift modes, the Citadel, Cathedral Dusk, Disjunction, Convergence. I think if they're talking about backfield spawns, I think that's talking about the spawns in the back. That's fantastic because a lot of these big maps, you spend half your time running back and forth, and it sucks. So if that's what they're implying, again, might have to check it out later. Major tuning of the initial spawn and heavy ammo crate and the tiebreaker zone location for all maps. That sounds great. Again, they're making tweaks for the maps. Adding 3 new maps. This is what matters. We're having an Eventide Labs, which is in Europa. We're having a Citrus Plaza, which is in New Umona, and a Dissonance Terraform Pyramid Ship, which they've already implied this is going to be a map pack. Now, whether this is free, I don't know. I don't know if they're not saying whether this is free update or if it's paid, but they're saying that it's in the works. Rewards, rewards, rewards. One of the biggest things about Destiny is the desire, the chase. The reason you play and shoot all the things is because you want the loot. We want Crucible to feel at least as rewarding as PvE, which most people feel like it's not. With post-game drops on par with strike activities in terms of rewarding materials and activity-specific loot. We want PvP players to have more consistent methods of being rewarded with build crafting materials. This has led us to make the following changes, which are currently available in-game. Already in-game, you're getting increased end-of-game match rewards, including Glimmer, higher chance of enhancement cores, Crucible engrams, and a double reward booster for PvP. Competitive now has weapon focusing, or already had it, should I say. Added a second tier in the competitive weekly challenge that awards Ascendant Alloys, which is something that people have been wanting. I don't want to farm GMs when I'm a PvP player, and that's something that they've said. So good on them for doing that. Artifice Armor. Holy smokes. This has been one of the most requested things for competitive. People who don't want to do, like, here's the thing. I think at some point, everyone should experience PvE, right? But some people are naturally not going to want to farm dungeons all the time. They want different avenues. And I think different avenues, personally, is great. Because I may not be a PvP player, but if I'm already doing a PvP objective, if I'm going for like my weekly reward for the gun, which is like what the pulse rifle, I don't even know what it's called, but let's say I'm chasing something already in the PvP. Now I'm getting even more loot, which includes Artifice, which is just a win. PvP lovers, rejoice. You have now an alternative to get Artifice Armor. You don't have to try to do Master, which is even better because people who are new, who may not be PvE savvy, but love first-person shooters, they play a lot of Call of Duty, they can jump in and play Destiny. Yes, they're going to learn some new things like abilities and whatnot, but the gunplay, right? If they have the gunplay down, they have a shot to get some in-game rewards to get them started. And I think that's fantastic. As the armor will drop from competitive Crucible, we will keep Dungeon Artifice drops to the dungeon they're associated with. So you're essentially going to get Crucible gear from Crucible, and that's it. You're not going to get any of the other dungeon stuff. So you want some cool skins to go with your build. You have to farm it and then unlock it. So at 7.3.5, we'll have a weekly challenge with a new reward of Artifice Armor. The tier will be unlocked for all players who reach the Gold 3 or above season. I think Gold 3 is a lot easier to achieve than what most people think. You can be an all right player, and I still think you can achieve Gold. And that's not me being elitist. I'm just stating something that I believe that most people should be able to get Gold 3. A lot easier than what comp used to be, like getting Fable. This tier will require match victories instead of completions. Upon completions of the challenge, each victory thereafter will have a chance to drop Artifice Armor, and the drop rates will increase alongside your rank. So there's a reason to try to get higher ranks, because if the more you go higher, the better the chance. And it's already double dipping with the fact that you will have more opportunities to focus competitive weapons. The higher you are, the more opportunities that you can use engrams to say you want the God Roll sniper rifle. Well, you only have 3 because your rank isn't that high. You have to go higher to unlock more opportunities to focus. So you're double dipping, and I think that's a fantastic add. Trials. Let me know in the comments down below what you think as well. Competitive matches will also have increased chance of exotic weapon catalyst victories. That's kind of like how it used to be, and now they're just putting it back in there. That's fine. In Trials, we want to strike a better balance between effort versus reward equation for going flawless, while also increasing reward options for players who cannot go flawless. And that's been a big thing. A lot of people have complained, I can't go flawless. I can never get the adept To that end, we've recently added flawed card rewards with 7.3.5 on March 5th. We'll be updating the passage of ferocity and adding a new passage of persistence. What's already live is you have a 50% chance to get trials weapons on win. Just any trials weapon. Just a win, you have a 50% chance of getting something. Cool. I think that's fine. I feel like a lot of times you play around or a game and it feels like you get nothing out of it and it feels bad. Like I feel like if I lose, I get nothing out of it. Added the flawed rewards. This will update, with this update, it will exclusively drop the weekly weapon reward to better allow for target farming of specific weapons. So you want the grenade launcher? Don't worry. You have a target farm for the grenade launcher now instead of just RNG hoping for the best. Or having to do the fast track of getting up the ranks on trials. We're making the fall changes to the trials passages. Passage of ferocity, if you have not been flawless for the week, so you're starting fresh. Losses after 3 wins will reset you back to 3 wins instead of flawing your card. Meaning, I've won 3 times. I've won another one. I've won another one. I'm on my 6th one. All right, it's not flawed. I just have to do 3. I have to do 4 more. But I don't know if this implies that you will always have 3 and you will never lose it. Let me read because I think I'm skipping something. With the new passage of persistence, losses following a win will remove the win from your card. So I get a win, I get a loss, I lost that most recent win. Consecutive losses do not remove additional wins. That's a W. Nothing is worse than getting paired constantly. Loss, 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 loss. It feels like you're being punished. Getting to 7 wins grants you a drop of the weekly adept weapon regardless of how many losses you've taken. Guys, there is no excuse why no one can get at least 1 adept weapon a week. There's no excuse. It may take you a couple hours. But as long as you are playing and getting some wins, and trust me, it's not hard to get 7 wins. When you look at the bigger picture, 7 wins is easy to do. It is much easier than to do flawless. I know we have tunnel vision. Got to get flawless. Got to get flawless. Got to get flawless. But now you just need to look at it. It's a win base. 7 wins. Okay, I can do that. I believe in you. It's not me trying to be elitist. I believe you can do it. Because especially if you're going solo, there's a chance you can get carried. I'm trying not to laugh, but I'm being honest. I know there's that one person that's like, I am like 0.5. I hate PvP. I suck. There's a chance you could get carried. You could get a win, right? There's still hope for everyone. This is a W. This passage works like a trailing backstop. Once you have at least 1 win recorded on the passage, a loss will remove the most recent win instead of flawing it. And since consecutive losses will not remove additional wins, winning 2 games in a row adds a permanent one to the card. And win streaks longer than 2 add additional permanent wins. So keep winning and you're going to add it. You can go flawless on this passage if you do not win. If you do not have a win removed. Once a win has been removed, you can no longer get flawless using this passage, but you can still earn a weekly adept. That's juice. Guys, get your adepts now. We're also adding rewards to match completions by 3-person teams and trials. That was a big thing. People are like, I hate that there's more people playing solos than in sweaty 3s. I'm sweating my tits off. I hate it. Now they're compensating you, which I think is great. I think it's a great balance. In fact, I don't care. I will never play trios unless it's with a clan, like my clan. 100%, I think trios should be fed much better than solos. I know that's elitist. I'm not even going to benefit that really, maybe once in a blue moon. But I think they should be fed more. In fact, give them double adepts. If they did the whole thing with the same team and got flawless, give them double adepts. I don't care. That you want people to be incentivized to do trios? Give them double. 50% chance to drop a non-adept Trials weekly weapon reward. 50 chance to get a Trials engram. That's what matters. That's money because you can do anything with that. Additional Trials reputation. That also helps because you get more engrams. The goal of these changes is to encourage players to team up with friends. Again, you really want that to happen? Give the trios double rewards. I'm just saying. And then when there's double loot weekend, give them quad loot. You will have so many people doing trios. Oh, just saying. Let me know in the comments down below if you're a PvP hardcore main, PvP life, you live, you bleed by it. Let me know in the comments down below. Does that tickle your fancy? Would it change your opinion? Double loot for trios and maybe even quad if, you know, double loot weekend. I don't know. Let me know. Maybe I'm talking out my booty. Game modes. A lot of people are upset because there are so many like party games and you really just want a regular shooter game like mode. Right now, competitive modes are not at the bar of quality to best promote an expedition of skill and mastery between teams. We recently updated the Countdown Rush rule set in competitive and are introducing a new King of the Hill mode called Collision. Thank God. I love King of the Hill. Thank God. King of the Hill is amazing. We also feel our quick play modes are lagging in updates. Even though new modes are being made, they have been either a party mode like Relic or limited time modes like Iron Banner Fortress, Eruption, Tribute. Outside of those, players have had the same options for too long. So what we've got now is Sparrow Control, 3v3 Clash, updated countdown rules to competitive. In 7.3.5, we are now getting a 3v3 Clash is being moved to the quick play rotator. Heavy ammo will no longer be shared. Respawn timer increased from 5 to 7, so you're going to have to wait longer, which I don't know how I feel about that. Match timer increased to 10 minutes, but the score to win remains 40. A new 3v3 King of the Hill mode, Collision, will enter Crucible Labs. A single large zone will rotate between 5 points around the map on a timer. Capturing and controlling it will earn you your team points. This mode will also test an alternative special ammo crate system. I'm going to let you read it yourself, or I'll go over, let someone review it. But in gist, working King of the Hill, that sounds awesome. I'd rather play it than read about it, to be honest. Iron Banner Tribute has undergone multiple changes, including simplifying objectives and scoring, including changing the trigger for the hunt from depositing max crest to a team score threshold, removing the wall hacks. And I love that they put in quotations because let's be honest, I'm not in trials every weekend. I'm not just doing it, but I can tell you one of the things that people always complain about in PvP in general is wall hacks. Anything that has wall hacks. That's why people hate Wishender right now. No, wall hacks should not exist in the game, except unless you're using the Spectral Blade. Then yes, give them wall hacks. And I mean in the super, then it makes sense because then you're getting the most out of you can out of a really bad super. But outside of that, like, wall hacks should not exist in PvP, like, ever. Update 7.3.6 Checkmate will be back in Crucible Labs. So if you love Checkmate, it's coming back. 30% penalty on ability cooldowns, no starting special, melee, primary, yada, yada, yada. I've not tried Checkmate. I don't know if I care enough to. But they also mentioned, I think it's interesting, the final shape will come out with private matches. You have more options per mode. Cool. That's great. Sandbox. I'm trying to not make this a 2-hour video, so that's why I'm rushing. So apologies if it upsets you, but realize I'm trying to also just give you the gist of it without being here all day. Sandbox issues, addressing problems against the skill curve. There is a lot that they talked about. For a long explanation of the sandbox changes we're making, please see. So all this is from last week. Check my video from last week. But they're increasing supers and increasing health. They're changing a lot about snipers and weapons, yada, yada. It's just copy and paste from last week. What's new is the matchmaking details, which is probably the most controversial thing besides the cheaters in PvP, is matchmaking. People are tired of anything skill-based, pretty much in any game. Like even Call of Duty, people hate that. We have a lot to cover for matchmaking, so let's do a quick rundown of the changes we've made and what we've planned before getting into the full details. Already in the game, replace the loose skill-based matchmaking in Iron Banner and Control with new outlier protection matchmaking system. Updated competitive matchmaking to be rank-based. Currently testing several different configurations of a new snake draft lobby balancer. What the heck is that? In 7.3.5, they will be adding an updated playlist tooltip to correctly display which matchmaking style is used for each mode. So no guessing. Does it have this? Does it have this? You will know if it's this kind of matchmaking, you can expect it. That's fantastic. More data or showing people what they're getting into. That's always good. We have several changes planned for ongoing experimentation with the snake draft lobby balancing aimed at improving how it handles fire teams. Our matchmaking systems are opaque and not easily understood. That's very true. And it's not clearly defined when and where they are used. Matchmaking is extremely complex and always a big challenge due to different types of players essentially players want different things. Imagine that. Some high-level players want close competitive games against worthy opponents, while some want to be able to show off their skills against the wider boundaries of the population bell curve. Let's be honest, there's people who just want to stomp casuals. Let's not mix words here. They want to stomp people. Competitive games, again, new and casual players, however, if they aren't presented with a place where they can develop consistency, are prevented from building their skills and can be discouraged from continuing to explore the crucible. Meaning, if they're getting their butt kicked and they feel like they can never get better or be able to start somewhere, they're never going to continue. And I'm going to be honest, as someone who is starting Tarkov, it's a new experience. The whole, if you go against hard challenges, you're gonna learn to improve. And I think that's a double edge. I think that's true, but it's also true that it will discourage people to play. When I consistently die to stupid things, or I think, wow, that really sucks. I unloaded a whole clip into this guy's head and he just turned around and one-shot me. Wow. That was rewarding of my time. I felt like I really did a lot from that. I usually turn off the game and I go play something else. So yes, I think it's both sides. I don't think it's one or the other. I think both are correct. Yes, people can learn from doing challenging things. Like going against good players can make you a good player, but it can also make you not want to play if it's constantly happening. Because those people also in the end want to have fun, as well as the people who are already good at PvP don't always want to sweat, neither do the casuals. So again, both sides. So what are they doing? Let's just look at what they're doing. Our matchmaking systems, what they're telling us, this is made specifically to content PvP creators who call Bungie out and tell them what their system does versus this is what it actually does not do. Individually force players to a 1.0 kill death ratio or a 50% win. Bungie does not. Now, whether this is true or not, they're the developer of this specific formula. I'm more inclined to believe them because of that. It is Bungie, and it's not like they could not lie to us. It's not like they haven't lied to us. But I'm gonna give, even though they don't deserve my faith, the fact that they are making changes and improvement, I'm gonna throw them a $1.50. I'll throw them a $1.50. Intentionally allowing players to dominate for a few games, then place them in games where they get destroyed. I've heard that a lot. Sacrifice connection quality for skill or any other filter. Our three most common matchmaking systems, outlier protection, rank-based, and open skill, all keep average connection quality generally within the same bounds. In fact, outlier protection and rank-based have on average slightly better connection quality than open skill due to increased time they remain in the optimal connection bracket while searching for matches. There you go. So what do they do? What does your matchmaking do? Games with deltas of less than 500 will generally feel competitive. So less than 500. with fewer or no players outclassed, though there will be a difference in performance between the highest and lower players. They refer it as the sweat zone. So if the games are less than 500, you're looking at the sweatiest of sweat. Now, the reverse of that is deltas greater than 500, but less than, or sorry, in the middle we have greater than 500, less than 1,000. There's more variance. They consider this the Goldilocks zone, where games can represent varied experiences without becoming a stomping ground. Talking about stomping ground, what a lot of PvP content creators want is deltas larger than 1,000. There will likely be one or more players who get few or no kills the entire game while contributing double-digit deaths. We refer this to the stomp area. These experiences result in some of the largest negative sentiment spikes we see in our game and are heavy drivers for player departures. So next time you hear someone talking about why skill-based is better and why casuals need to get stomped so they get better, no, it is statistically shown to be worse. And I think that's true for any game. With that information in mind, let's talk about our specific matchmaking strategies. In our most recent pool of ranked let's skip all that. Used in competitive playlists, rank-based matchmaking based on skill only and placement matches before you have been ranked. Once you've been ranked, your current rank is converted to a value we can use in place of skill in a range between a -1,000 to 1,000, and you are matched based on that. For example, if you're gold 2, it tries to find other gold 2 players. If it cannot, it will expand to look within the neighboring minor ranks, in this case gold 3 or gold 1. So you're not looking up, you're only going down or slightly up. Like your neighbor, you're never going to, if you're in gold, you should never go against the depths. If there's no available players after a given time, the matchmaking will expand. So it will eventually get to the point, right? The only exception to this maximum bracket is if you're in Ascendant 2 or 1, where there are not always enough players to match. These players can be considered Ascendant 3 for matchmaking purposes, helping prevent extremely long queue times. There you are. And I'm going to continue on. Open skill matchmaking. So skill ranking is for competitive. Open skill, also known as CBMM. This type of matchmaking is used in our quick play playlist, Crucible Lab, Rumble, and the Trials Challenger pool. It is designed to find you a game as quickly as possible, with only limitations being connection quality. The skill bracket starts fully expanded to the widest possible values. If there are not enough players to fill a match, it will wait a while and then slowly expand the connections. Great. We see the question a lot. Why can't all non-competitive playlists just open skill? Having all of them previously run matchmaking with no skill restrictions made the PvP experience worse for our newer and more casual players, to the extent that when we added some form of skill-based matchmaking to our control in Iron Banner playlist, we saw a significant increase in playtime and retention from those groups of players, keeping new and casual players engaged with our Crucible ecosystem. It is critical for the population to avoid stagnation and deflation, and for it to stay healthy for players of all skill levels in a long term. Even Guardian Games Supremacy, which is often referred to as an example of a successful open skill playlist, was by the end of the second week consistently hitting a lower percentage of daily active players than the Control playlist averaged in the following months, which at the time had an initial iteration of loose skill-based matchmaking. They're saying, hey, you guys love this game mode. Guess what? This game mode did worse than what was already there with the other basement. And so facts matter than words. Opinions, general, the facts are here. Open skill is not the way. Sorry, despite what your favorite streamer says. Again, I'm more inclined to give them a bone here because they're actually making real changes. Like actual changes. So I'm more inclined to give them a bone. I don't care about loose skill based. This is what it was. They're not using it, so I don't care, right? This was our first attempt. I don't care. Outlier protection used in our unranked playlist, Iron Banner Control, since the beginning of Season 23. Outlier protection takes a different approach to matchmaking. Instead of trying to match you people who are at or very near your skill level, we simply consider anyone who is more than 1,000 skill from someone else in a match to be an outlier. Our core goal is to try to reasonably prevent these outliers by keeping the skill deltas in our matches below 1,000 when possible, or close to 1,000 when we can. Using ranks as an example, players in Platinum 3 could initially match everyone from Silver through Adept, and they're only kept away from players who are at the far end of the skill spectrum in Bronze, Copper, and Ascendant. If it's unable to match within that window, the matchmaking will wait a period, and again, it will increase. Great. Fire team based matchmaking. So trials. Let's talk trials. Specifically, we understand that experience for full fire teams has suffered as the difficulty has increased with fire team based matchmaking, but the solution is not as simple as it may initially appear. The two common suggestions for how to resolve the issue is remove solos or remove duos so that they're protected from trios. Okay. Yeah. Both styles of matchmaking have been used before and contributed to previous deterioration of the trials ecosystem. So they tried it, it didn't work. Before we allowed non-trio fire teams in trials, participation was at all-time low. If we were to revert to only allowing trios to queue, the available population would decrease substantially. Most players would not manually find other players to group with. I won't. I will never manually group unless it's my clan. I will never play with strangers in a trials game again after the incident I had years ago. And the population would likely decrease by 30% or more overnight. As the population would continue to decrease, skill creep would eat away at the number of three-person teams that can compete. And eventually the trios experience will feel much the same as it does now, except players would not have the solo or duo experience to fall back on. So essentially the same thing for duos. Ironically, if we were to prohibit duos from queuing, or if we did not protect them from trios, it would end up with an experience much like the occurring during previous freelance weekends. Essentially, if you're not going to protect duos, or you do protect duos, people are just going to go solo. That's the bomb dollar. And if they all go solo, guess who gets hurt? The trios still get hurt. So one way or another, trying to change things only breaks things. With the current iteration, trios still have the highest flawless percentages of any fire team configuration, meaning you have a better chance currently at a trio than you do solo. And duos exist for people who want to play with a single friend but cannot do so. Instead of altering matchmaking, we need to focus on making the trio experience more enjoyable. Again, double loot, just saying. We've modified, so essentially what they've already done. Personally, I think you want to make it better for people. Double the loot for them. I don't care. They deserve it. Lobby balancing. We understand that lobby balancing is currently a pain point. Some complaints about matchmaking can be more accurately attributed to lobby balancing, as it can make games feel unfair for one or both teams. Yeah, sometimes it feels like you're carrying the whole team. And it feels bad. So, changes. Let's just get to it. What they've already done. Replace the loose skill-based matchmaking and Iron Banner Control with the new outlier protection matchmaking system. They've updated base comp by ranks. In 7.3.5, we will also cap the win-loss min-max values to make them less variable, which should make points rewards more predictable. Currently testing several different configurations of a new snake draft lot, and they've already said this. Also, on March the 5th, we will update our playlist tooltips to correctly display. Yes, they've already said this. Okay. Accessibility. Added the reticle location to console. Added controller dead zone settings. Added the ability to adjust the opacity of the radar background, so you can no longer have to worry about your radar. Just if you don't want to see it, you can actually get rid of it now. Just goodbye, without actually removing your entire hood, which is awesome. I would still like to be able to move my radar wherever I want. That would be a nice feature. In update 7.3.5, they are updating the weapon pools in the Prophecy Dungeon. They're removing the Verdict sidearm. I don't know who's going to miss that. The Long Walk Sniper Rifle. We have so many good snipers. I think you won't miss it. The Last Breath Auto Rifle. I think we have so many better auto rifles. You won't miss it. They're introducing a new origin trait. Crossing over. These weapons have increased range and handling for the top half of the magazine, while rounds from the bottom half of the magazine deal increased damage. That sounds spicy. They're adding the prosecutor auto rifle. It's a primary, and it's now arc. The Educator submachine gun, which I believe is like 900. I could be wrong. It is now strand. It's high impact. It's literally right there. Okay, so we have precision frame. It's kinetic. And then relentless is now a strand, and it's high impact. They've also updated other weapons that are in the Prophecy Dungeon. The Judgment Hand Cannon, which it needs love. It's too slow for me and sluggish. It's an adept frame. It is now stasis. Dark as Before, which people love, is no longer competing with other arc pulse rifles. Now is solar. A sudden death shotgun, which was arc, is now void. And here's the updated encounters. And your Normandy winners don't care. Where's the art of the week? Here it is. Also, your issues. Gamers might be having fun, might be fixed. Artist of the week. That's awesome. I love that. And with that, that's it. That's your This Week in Destiny. This is actually a lot more positive this week. Like, I'm not even going to try to meme or make jokes. This is actually solid. I will give them credit where credit is due. These are improvements. They are actually making PvP, I think, a better place. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. But truly, this is what we've been waiting for. The people who love Crucible have been waiting for. Sorry, Gambit, but you'll never get the love you deserve. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Until next time, don't forget to game out.